Hey, what's up my fellow Call of Duty Elite gaming professionals? I hope you all had a fantastic week. So in this video, I'm gonna be basically just showing you how overpowered the FAL has become with the most recent update. Because as some of you may know, in the last week or so, it received a massive buff to its damage at close range, and it's now the fastest killing weapon in all of Warzone, and by a long shot too, if you're not counting sniper headshots of course. And the main thing that makes the FAL really overpowered now from the most recent update is it will now kill in just 4 upper body shots against someone with full armor plates within 18.7 meters, and this can be extended up to 27 meters if you're using the marksman barrel and monolithic suppressor. So when you combine this with the FAL's rate of fire cap of 500 rounds per minute, this gives it a time to kill of just 360 milliseconds, which is absolutely insane. And that's if you're just going for upper body shots. Now, to give you guys some perspective of just how fast this is, the M4 will kill in 576 milliseconds when hitting the upper chest, and the MP5 will kill in 504 milliseconds. So the FAL is not just a bit faster, it's a lot faster now, and pretty much it's like just almost twice as fast or over twice as fast compared to every other gun in Warzone. So yeah, if you ignore a sniper headshot, of course, this makes the FAL just ridiculously good and the best gun for close range now. I do think they're going to nerf this though in the near future, because it just doesn't make much sense to give the FAL this much killing power at close range. So yeah, if they don't nerf the FAL and they just leave it like this, I think it's going to become one of the new meta guns in Warzone for sure. And I'll admit, I know I'm a bit late to the party in making this video, but that's because I really wanted to test out the FAL over many games in Warzone before coming to this conclusion that it's overpowered. So when I tell you guys something is good or overpowered, you can have confidence in what I'm saying because you know that I've used it a lot over many games. And something I've noticed a lot on YouTube is that when a new gun comes out or something, a lot of people will tend to immediately make a video within a day or so telling people how overpowered it is without really using it enough. And I think a good example of this is with the CR56 AMAX, or Galil as it's called, because when it initially came out, many were saying it was overpowered or the best gun in Warzone, yada yada yada. But within a week or so, everyone was still just using their Graus and M4s because of the Graus' higher fire rate and accuracy, which just made it a lot better than the CR56 AMAX. So that didn't really end up changing the meta all that much when the Galil was released, and I want to just kind of avoid rushing in and saying everything is OP straight away. I really want to make sure that I know it's overpowered before I tell you guys, and that's kind of the reputation I want to build on this channel. And of course, if you do end up enjoying this video and like seeing this kind of content, I'd massively appreciate a like and subscribe, and it tells me that I'm kind of going in the right direction in what videos to make. But anyway, back onto the video. And that is that the FAL is now the best gun for close-range gunfights in my opinion, because with its ridiculous time to kill, even if someone is able to start spraying at you first or you don't have full armor plates, you can still quite easily turn around and get the kill on them, even if you're not going for headshots. And I've been in many situations now where I don't have full armor plates, or I'm getting jumped by someone who managed to surprise me, but because I have the FAL, I know I can still outgun him. So I've gotten a lot more aggressive now in charging into the enemy, which I just would not have done with any other assault rifle. Even the default ground loot FAL is still a top tier gun to use, and I'll pick it up off the ground over anything else if I can find it at the start of the match. And in these clips, you'll see me getting quite a few kills using just the default ground loot FAL. Heck, I've actually replaced almost all my SMG classes now with the FAL, which just goes to show how good it is. And if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I think they should have given these buffs to some of the marksman rifles instead, which are just trash at the moment, because the FAL before this update was not a terrible assault rifle, and there were still some people using it in Warzone, whilst almost no one was using any of the other marksman rifles in the game. But anyways, it is what it is. But before I move on to my recommended class setups for you guys, I have to first warn you that the FAL is still pretty bad for medium and long range gunfights, especially when you compare it to the M4 or Grau or M13 or Kilo or pretty much any of the other high fire rate, low recoil assault rifles or LMGs in the game. And it's a bit misleading because as a semi-auto rifle, you would expect that to mean that it's great for longer ranges, and I think a lot of people tend to think that initially when choosing the FAL, but that's just practically not the case, because in the medium range department, the top tier weapons in Warzone have always been kind of the low recoil and good rate of fire guns like the Grau and M4, which I keep mentioning. And this is because it just makes it super easy to hit people who are further away from you. Because if your aim is not perfect and your gun swipes to the side a little bit, some of your shots will likely still connect. Whereas with the FAL, since it's semi-automatic, you would have to be pinpoint accurate. And if you do miss any of your shots, it will hurt your time to kill quite a lot. So yeah, I'd advise you guys not to use the FAL for the purpose of medium range, but use it as a close range assault rifle that if you have to shoot someone at medium range, it can be done, but for close range, just know that it's gonna be absolutely fantastic and you're gonna outgun pretty much anyone in the game who's not using the FAL. Okay, so with all that being said and done, I'm now gonna go over my best class setups in my opinion for the FAL. And for this, I've got kind of two class setups for you guys, depending on whether you are playing in squads or whether you're playing in solo mode. So, for class number 1, which I recommend for solo mode, I'd run the Monolithic Suppressor, the Marksman Barrel, which by the way, these are essential attachments for this build because it helps boost the 4-shot kill range up to 27 meters. And I'd use the GI Mini Reflex Sight because the iron sights aren't that good, and if you are forced into a long-range gunfight, being pinpoint accurate is especially important with the FAL because of its low fire rate. So yeah, just having that red dot sight in the GI Mini Reflex just really helps a lot more with your accuracy in landing those chest shots at medium range. And for the grip, I'm going to suggest the Merc 4 grip for better hip fire and better vertical recoil control, and even better movement speed, believe it or not, which was recently discovered to be one of the hidden changes in the last update, but I think this will be reverted since it doesn't really make much sense to give the Merc 4 grip all these benefits in one package. And lastly, I'm going to also suggest that you use the tac laser, which I've found to be pretty important in this build because the other attachments slow down the aim down sight speed quite a lot on this gun. And pretty much when you're in a close range gunfight with this, the only real downside now that you will face against someone using an SMG like the MP5 for instance, is that the MP5 has a much better aim down sight speed than the FAL, so you'll want to minimize that difference as much as possible with the tac laser attachment. Now you still won't be as fast as someone aiming down sight using the MP5, but with that crazy time to kill on the FAL, you will still probably be able to outgun them. Okay, so for class setup 2 I have for you, this is going to be more focused on duos, trios, and quads, and it's pretty similar to my solo class setup, but this time I'm going to recommend using the 30 round extended mags instead of the Merc 4 grip, because in squads, not only do you have to fight multiple people at once, but in order to get the kill, you have to still keep shooting at them when they get downed, whilst in solo modes, you're most likely going to be in a 1v1 gunfight most of the time, and if you do end up killing someone, they will just die right away unless they have a self-revive, but that tends to happen more in the later stages of the game. So in team games, I do find that 30 round extended mags to be much more useful and essential. And just a quick note on the 3 round burst attachment for this gun. I've noticed that some channels on YouTube were using it in montages or class setup videos because of its potential to get a 1 burst kill, which makes it look really cool and powerful, I'll admit, but I found that this isn't really that good of an attachment because even though you can get a slight fire increase of up to 600 rounds per minute for the burst, in order to get that 1 burst kill, one of your shots needs to be a headshot, so it's actually not that reliable. And if you have to pull off a second burst to finish off your opponent because that first burst you did was not a headshot for one of the shots, there's a delay of around 300 milliseconds, which is almost as fast as it would have took for you to just kill someone by spamming the trigger in semi-auto, so I would not recommend the burst attachment. I'd just say stick to the semi-auto mode, and also it frees you up for an extra attachment slot that you can then use for something else. And yeah, with all that said and done, that wraps it up for this video. I do think this will be nerfed in the near future, as I said earlier at the start, so I'd highly suggest you guys try this gun out while it's still like this. And if it doesn't get nerfed, this will probably remain as one of my favorite guns in Warzone, especially for close range. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button for me. I massively appreciate it. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks and stay safe.